Hello, welcome to White David Gardening and Worm Farm. Today we're just gonna talk about whatever you guys want to discuss. Just silencing my phone so it doesn't go off and make too much noise. It can be rather noisy. Okay. So how are you guys doing today? I'm doing okay. Exhausted but okay as usual. That's always the norm for me. Yeah, so it's a rather chilly day. Can you imagine me saying it's chilly in June? It has been a bit crazy. I don't know. Last year, growing season was too cold for long. Even throughout the summer, it was a bit cold. But last year, June, I was already harvesting a few things. Well, I was harvesting pak choy from my garden. This year, my pak choy are about that tall. They have been planted for quite a while now. I think they have been planted for close to 6 weeks, maybe not that long, but they are about that tall. Last year, this time I was harvesting pak choy. Now my pak choy are like this, and they are bolting. My lettuces, oh hi CC, my lettuces they're just terrible. I planted quite a few. I think maybe five different variety or six. Yes, six different varieties of lettuces. And so far, I only have my salad blend. Hi, Mom. My salad blend is the only lettuce that actually germinate. Well, that's not true. The Russian, not Russian, the romaine lettuce that I planted last, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, those germinated, but I don't have any lettuce this year. I'm quite disappointed. I don't know where I'm going to get lettuce from because it's a bit hot, so I don't know if I plant the seeds now if they're going to be growing. It's crazy. But anyway, I'll just have to make do with the little that I have. My kids' garden, oh, they came outside yesterday. I don't know what's going on with these kids. They're constantly indoors. Usually, when it is warm enough, they would be happy to be outside. They're just constantly inside. So they went out yesterday and looked at their garden. But when they asked if they could look at the garden, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's nothing for them to see. Their strawberries that they have in the garden from last year, that's all they can see, and a few of their carrots germinated. There is no lettuce, and I planted three tomato plants in their beds, and guess what? They all got eaten by cutworms, so they don't have. I didn't even tell them that I planted tomatoes in there because usually I would let them plant it themselves, but because the plants were so small, I planted them out. Hi, Russell. Yeah, they got eaten by cutworms. So I put one more tomato plant in there. I'm gonna hold off. If anything happened to this one, then I won't be putting any in there until the tomato plants are a lot bigger, and then the kids can transplant it themselves. But I'm very disappointed with my cool weather crop this year. There is nothing to be had, but then the weather was so cold for much longer than usual. So maybe that's why they're not doing so well. But I'm gonna keep trying anyway. So what have you guys been up to? I'm still working on those potato bugs. Oh my goodness. I found one more today, and I found their eggs, some of their eggs today, and I was quite disappointed when I saw the eggs because every day I go out and look. Yesterday, for the first time, I look on the potatoes twice, and the second time around there was no potato bug eggs on the plants. But this morning when I went out and looked on the plants, there was one cluster, and the eggs were about 3 times the size of the ones that I found previously, which indicate that they have been there for quite some time. So I don't know if maybe shortly after I looked at the plant the second time, the potato bugs decide to go and lay their eggs, but they were quite big eggs. But I found the culprit that laid it. So, of course, he's no more. Hi, Leafy Wiggy. Let's see. Nobody mentioned crows eating bugs or it will disrupt the stream. Okay. Um, I don't really, thankfully, I don't see the crows coming in my yard. They usually stay on the road. I don't know what it is that they're eating off the road. Maybe there are some caterpillars or stuff falling off the Dutch elm trees onto the road, so they mostly stay on the road. Is it true that if you chase the crows, they will come back with a vengeance and try, and they can even attack you? Is that true? That's what I heard, but I've never really seen it happen. I know that my neighbor next door, the one in front of me, she said they're always coming in her backyard and stuff. And so one year, she decided to give them a little bit of food. She said after that, the crows decided to move in. So quite a few families of crows started visiting her place regularly. So I don't know, but after that, she learned her lesson, so she's no longer feeding them. Let's see, Leafy says, I've had crows follow me once. Okay. Were they aggressive or were they just simply following you? Maybe you had something they wanted to eat. Yeah, I've never fed them, so I don't know. Yeah. So how are you guys' garden coming on? I am a bit disappointed. Oh, they want your groceries. You should give them some funds and let them go shop for themselves. Uh, my garden, I'm a bit disappointed with my garden this year. Some of it is doing really well, but some of it is just a big disappointment. I don't know. I realized that everything that I started indoors, or most of the things that I started indoors, they are the ones that look the worst in my garden. And the things that I started directly in the garden, those are looking really good. But I know that a lot of the way my plants that I started indoors are looking is related to the fungus gnat. But I'm quite disappointed because most of them were being bottom watered. Occasionally, I would water on the surface. So I'm quite disappointed with how they look. My Scotch bonnet peppers, oh my goodness. I can't even talk about those. I don't know what is going on with them. One of them practically have no leaf and they're trying to send new branches. And that was the one that was looking the best, the one that I kept indoors while I put the others outside to harden off. Now it is looking the worst. And then the tree that I transplanted into the ground, they are just looking, I don't know. But the one that I allowed to stay in the container, that one is looking fairly good, even as three Scotch bonnet on it. So I'm expecting some nice peppers. And it is still flowering. So yes, I'm happy for that one at least. And my sweet potatoes, oh yeah, those they struggled for a long while. Quite a few of the Jamaican sweet potatoes, especially those that I have in the corn raised bed, most of them died. I think I have maybe 5 plants in there, and maybe only two of them kind of look good. But as for the ones that are growing in the sweet potato beds, those are looking, they're developing quite well. So I'm pleased with that. They're not looking too bad at all. Let's see, Russell says, as much as I enjoy birds in the garden, I have noticed using wood chips as mulch, the birds are becoming like pests. Oh, maybe because the wood chips encourage insects and all those other things to live underneath it. It provides habitats for them so the birds come and dig in. Let's see. They dig worms and not care at all about the plants. Very destructive. Not a problem with leaves as mulch. Okay. 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 Well, that's not. Um, I do see them in my garden, but I don't really see them doing any damage just yet. I don't see them digging around either. I know that something is going on with my peas though, because the top of the peas, no matter how they grow, afterward there is just no peas growing there, or just a little portion of it remain. But there's one piece that is doing fairly well, and that one, the only reason why it is doing well, I have about four of them that I use the tissue roll to wrap around, and so those look better than the others. But the portion of it that comes out of the tissue roll usually get eaten. But there is one that I use, those are the plastic cups to protect. That one is doing well. So next year I know it is the plastic cups that I'm going to be using to protect the peas or any plants that I need to protect. So I'm happy at least one of the peas is doing well. Let's see. And White says, my sweet potatoes are doing well, finally. Well, that's good. How are your worms doing? I haven't really checked on my worms that I put in my compost bin. I just go and just slightly move the surface and look at it, but I haven't really looked in depth at them to see how well they're doing. I know those that are in the tiered bins outside, they're doing okay. They seem to be quite happy where they are, but I haven't really checked on those in the compost bin. So I'm gonna be checking on them. Hopefully Sunday I can get some time. Hopefully by Saturday I will have the project I'm working on finished. If that happens, then I will have a little bit more time for myself, a little bit more time for my garden, because it's obvious that I need to spend more time in the garden than I'm spending, because my leaves, the leaves on some of my kidney beans are being eaten by some form of pests. And the three little Chinese cabbage, I have only three Chinese cabbage, and they look like a sieve. So I know I need to definitely go and spend a little bit more time in there. And I have my BTK and I still haven't used it yet. It has not been raining much these days, so I can use it, but time, time is killing me. So hopefully I'll get my project done this weekend and then I'll be able to spend more time in the garden. I haven't been able to truly sit back and relax and enjoy my garden yet. Okay, your worms are doing well, am I? See, I need to harvest some casting at the weekend. Okay. Yeah, I need to look after my worms in the garage as well. I look after the second shelf, but the first shelf I haven't touched them yet, so I don't know what state they are in. It's been a week since I look after them, and with how windy it is, I imagine that they must be drying out a little too much by now. So definitely have to go and look at those little guys. Yes, so when I did that video on me releasing those Canadian night crawlers, was that last week? I think. I put some food scraps in a container and put it in the worm bin. So I went to look on them yesterday for the first time. Quite a lot of them are now in that container with food. So pretty soon, hopefully, all of them will be in there, or most of them will be in there, and then I'll be able to harvest that castings because I haven't harvested any castings from that bin in a whole year. So I'm gonna have to get on that. Let's see. Russell says I have filled two 32-gallon trash cans with fresh castings this week so far. Whoa, that's a lot of castings. One more to fill today. That is a lot of castings. I don't know if I would have space to store that much castings. Yeah, I'm running out of space. I have so many things in that garage I need to get rid of so I can make some space in there. But I'm a little bit too busy to even get that sorted out. But yes, I'm excited. I got an email yesterday saying that my hardware cloth is here. So now, when I finish the project that I'm working on, I'll be able to cover my entire worm bin, well, shelves, with the hardware cloth, so no more mice going in there. And I already started making the covers for the individual bins so that I can keep out the fungus knots and the fruit flies. So I'm pretty excited. Oh, I guess I need to go and pick it up today. I guess the earlier I go, the better, since as my husband came home from work early. I can just drop that down. That's something I need to do. Yes, so I'm gonna pick that up, and then when I find myself with a few minutes each day, I can just go in and do a little bit on it, because I don't think I'm gonna have time to just sit and just take care of that one project because I have a lot of things that are lagging behind. So every day I'm gonna try and do a little bit on it. I'm quite excited for that. Say bye bye to those mice, although I don't really know how much of them is left. I caught quite a few recently, and I'm quite pleased. Yes, I'm quite pleased. So, are you guys facing any problem with pests in your garden yet? Or are you having a good time? Yeah, I don't know. I seem to be having far more pests this year. Thankfully, I haven't seen the Japanese beetles yet, but then I don't really have much for them to feed on just yet anyway, so maybe they're waiting to come out. Uh, so yes, because most of the plants that I have that tend to have problem with pests would be my cool weather crop, my brassicas and my stuff like that. And I don't really have a lot of that this year, so even though I planted a wide variety of them, I don't have a lot of them. I plant just a few of each plant, and a lot of them did not even germinate. Speaking of which, I'm going to have to get in contact with the people that I bought, the company that I bought my seeds from, because I'm quite disappointed. A lot of my seeds did not germinate. And when I say did not germinate, I mean not even one seed germinate. And I bought quite a lot of seeds from them. Most of the seeds that I have come from this one place, and some of them nothing germinated. I planted again. I sold some more from the same package, nothing germinated, and I've done that maybe 3, 4 times. So I know that I got a really bad batch of seeds. So I'm definitely. It doesn't matter if they want to send me new seeds or not. Doesn't matter, but I'm gonna complain because not one seed out of some of these things germinated. I'm quite disappointed. Let's see. And White says, well, I'm having a little issue with aphids, but I've got them under control. Good. A few of my seeds are hold. I figured that's what's going on with my seeds. I think they sold me some really old seeds because it does not make sense that not even one would germinate. Yes. And my cucumbers, I am so disappointed with the cucumbers this year. Usually, I have no issues with cucumbers apart from maybe something will cut one or two plants down. But this year, my cucumbers, I'm struggling. They just die off just like that. I don't know what's going on with them. So now I have about four plants. I planted maybe five different varieties of cucumbers. One of them I honestly did not really expect to germinate because I've had the seeds for maybe 5 years. But for the rest, some of them I just bought the seeds this year. So I was expecting some to germinate. A lot of them didn't. And then the ones that germinate, they just die off as soon as they germinate. And then some of them got cut down. So I am quite disappointed. So now I only have one variety of cucumbers. And from the time I plant them, they took forever to germinate. And they are about that. I planted them maybe 4 weeks ago, and they're about that, and they're just starting to show any sign of true leaves on some of them. Two of them, the other two, are about that. So I'm quite disappointed because everything that I plant in the garden, as long as I direct sow it, they germinate fast and they grow pretty fast, especially this year. But I don't know what's going on with the cucumbers. Let's see. And White says, so I purchased a few more, and these ones are doing better. Okay. It's too late for me to plant seeds now. So any plants that fail to grow, if I want to grow them, I have to go now and buy seedlings because I won't be able to harvest anything unless, of course, it is lettuce. Rosa says, tomorrow I am planning on getting fencing for corns and pole beans. It is fenced now, but the bed is 7 feet off the ground. Oh, 7 inches off the ground and 12 inches with 12-inch covers with birds netting. The rabbit jumped the fence last year. Okay. Yeah. Got to protect those corns, those glorious, delicious corns. None of my cucumber seeds you sent me germinated. Hmm, and then died. Okay, so either none germinate or some germinate and died. I don't know. I'm making covers for my big planters in order to get rid of those annoying leaf miners and possibly aphids. Okay. Hi, Irene. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so is it okay if I just say Irene? Welcome to the discussion. Okay, and White, they all died. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with these cucumbers, why they're dying off, because the first set that I sold indoors, that I've sown indoors, they were doing pretty well. They grew to about 3, maybe 4 inches. They were looking well, and all of a sudden, oh, the fungus knots probably did it too. Because all of a sudden they just started dying off. They were looking good, they were looking healthy, they were under the grow lights, and all of a sudden they just started dying off. But then the second set that I planted direct sow outside, I can't figure out why those died because most of them were direct sown in the main garden. I have a few in my corn raised bed, and the ones that are in the corn raised beds either got cut down by cutworms or a few of them remaining. Hi, Growing with Jay. Yes, so I have a few of those in the corn raised bedroom. But the ones that I direct sow in the main garden, those died, and then I sowed another set. Not one of those germinates. So I'm struggling where my cucumbers are concerned. So I'm thinking I might have to go out and get a few seedlings from the garden center because I can't see my garden without cucumbers in it, really. And four little plants, they're so small that they can easily be cut down. So I'm not even banking on those. So I'm going to have to go out and get some. So I'm going to have to create a list because there's quite a few of the things that I wanted to grow that didn't grow. My rosemary that I started from seeds, I know they take forever to germinate, even 6 weeks or more. And so that's exactly what mine did. About two of them out of all the seeds that I've sown, which was a lot, germinated. And they grow to about a quarter inch. And then they were there struggling, struggling, and then they died. So now I have no rosemary. So I'm going to have to go and buy the plant. But the rosemary plants they sell here is so expensive. It's like $15 you gotta pay for a little rosemary plant. I don't know if some places have it for less, but yeah. My beautiful courgettes are not doing well too either. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry about that, my dear. Yeah, I didn't plant any courgette this year. Yeah, I didn't. After I planted it last year for the first time, one, I didn't know that when you're harvesting courgette, you harvest them young. So I allowed them to grow until they were quite big. And when I say big, one of them was about something almost 18 inches long, and the other one was about 15 inches long and had full mature seeds in them and everything. But I didn't know you're supposed to harvest them young. And to be honest, I still have some of it in my refrigerator frozen because um, it didn't have the flavor that I was expecting. I thought it would be more like a dry squash. If it was like that, then definitely I'll be planting it again. But anyway, it is still there. I might put it in one of my soup one day if I can remember that it is there. Yes, my pumpkins that I started indoors did not germinate, so I'm disappointed with that too. Could make curry with it. Okay, didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. So the pumpkins that I started indoors, they did not germinate. I made two attempts. None of them germinated. But the ones that I started outdoors, they are doing well. You should see the size of the leaves. They Some of them haven't reached the point where they are gonna grow true leaves yet because they just germinated a few days ago. But you should see the size of the leaves. I don't know if maybe because I covered the garden with about 2 or 3 inches of compost over the fall, but everything that I put in the garden, that I start from seeds in the garden, they're just magnificent. They're growing so fast, they're looking so good. So I'm quite happy for that. My melons germinated. Well, one of them, most of the melons that all of the melons that I started indoors, only one set germinate, and that died too. I've got so many plants that I started from seeds that died this year. It's rather disappointing. My squash and pumpkin, which decided to germinate without me planting or sowing them, are doing well. So I'm going to leave them. Yes, that's a good idea. As long as the space is there and they're doing well, why not let them stay? Yeah, I would let them stay too. So this year, I think I'm gonna have a lot of pumpkin plants, quite a lot, because when I see that the ones that I started indoors did not germinate, I sow maybe 3 seeds per hole, and then in about 2 holes, I dump a ton of seeds just to make sure that I have enough plant in case some get cut down or some die. Then I will still have. So now I have more pumpkin. Well, I should say squash because I don't think that's not a pumpkin, but I call it pumpkin anyway, since as I don't grow pumpkins. Yes, so they're doing quite well. I'm quite happy for that. I might have to give away some of the plants because I've got way, way, way more than I can actually grow. I don't have space. But the biggest disappointment for me this year with my garden, oh, hi, Herb and Kiki. The biggest disappointment for me this year is my single seed challenge. I'm going to have to do an update on that. I am so disappointed, not for the challenge itself, but for the putty girl because I was really, really looking forward to it. But unfortunately, it was one of those that came to a very bad end. Yes, so now I don't have any putty girls to look forward to. So I'm gonna have to get mom to bring me or send me some putty girl seeds when she goes back home. And hopefully this time around they will do better. Yeah, I'm very disappointed. I was so looking forward to it. Okay, just saying greetings. Okay. What do you guys use? I know that for the worm farmers, you mostly use your castings and stuff. But what do the rest of you on the live who don't have worm castings? What do you use for fertilizer in your garden? You see me sitting here being all quiet, eh? Yeah. You know me, I always tell you I'm a quiet person. I don't really have much to say unless I'm talking about gardening or something of the sort. So usually I'm like this. I'll just sit and have nothing to say. Yes, but I'm looking forward to the end of the project that I'm working on. I've got 2 projects that are coming to an end, or at least I'm going to take a break from one. So, my yard cleanup project that I have been doing from February, I think I'm going to be taking a little bit of break. I'm going to be working on it, but not as much as I've been doing because it's taking too much of my time. So, I'm just going to have to take my time and just work on it. I still have quite a few things to do on that project because I was supposed to stain the door that I made for my shed. I haven't gotten around to that yet. I still have my water tanks to finish spraying. I haven't gotten around to that yet either. I got so many little projects on the go, but everything takes time. Let's see. I'm using wheat tea and compost tea to fertilize. Oh yes, I saw your video about that, the wheat tea that you made, that you uploaded. I think that was today or yesterday. Well, I saw it today. Yeah. So is that what you have been using over the years, Kiki? Just compost tea and the wheat tea? How does that work out for you? I've never really used a lot of teas. Maybe because I have a lot of compost. So I've never really used a lot of teas, but I think maybe I'm gonna be getting into using a bit of tea in my garden, especially the worm tea since as it is a good pesticide. Let's see. And why it says my chilies that I planted back in January are only 2.5 inches. So you're so disappointed. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these plants, but they don't want to behave themselves sometimes. Although it's not the plants, it is usually something else is going on. It's just a matter of finding out what it is that is going on, what is affecting the plants and causing them to grow so slowly or to die off. For me, I know the main problem that I have with my plants is the fungus knots, because I'm telling you, after I put the plants out into the garage this spring, because I put them out in the garage because it's easier for me to take them out. It was easier for me to take them out of the garage than taking them out of the house every day to harden them off. But then, because I have the 55-gallon European Nightcrawler worm bin in there, and I did not secure the holes in that worm bin, so I develop a lot of fungus knots and fruit flies in there, and then they get into the plants. So that is the main thing that affected most of my plants, why a lot of them died. But then the ones that I started outdoors, I guess I can say I killed them. Some of them, the ones that did not get cut down by cutworms, I guess I can say I killed them because I put too much compost in the raised beds. Because I noticed that the ones that are in the ground, they don't die for that reason, because I don't have a lot of compost in the raised beds, in the main garden, only in the raised beds. So I guess it's my fault, but as you know, gardening is a learning process. We're always learning something new. So, and sometimes we learn things and we take it for granted and we go back and we make the same mistake again, which is what happened in my case, because when I started the first raised beds a few years ago, I did put way too much compost in there and some of the plants died. But then, because it haven't happened again, so I went back and I made the same mistake again. But the first time it happened, the casualties wasn't too bad. But this time the casualties very bad. So I think I've learned my lesson for good. So I definitely will not be making that mistake ever again. Let's see. Okay, so going with J, you use Miracle Grow Organics. Okay, I've never used that. And Leafy Wiggy had to use the CIL compost, only affordable organic certified available. Okay, I've never really heard of it though. You know, Miracle Grow seemed to be an international fertilizer. Most people tend to go after that one. It's very popular, but I've never heard of the CIL compost. It says I was using banana liquid fertilizer, but now I'm making and using worm castings tea. Okay, yeah. I need to make a batch of those of the worm tea too, especially since I'm having some issues with something, I don't know what, eating down some of my plants. I'm yet to see what's eating it. I can't find any creatures on my plants. I'm not finding them underneath the plant. The only creatures I've been able to see so far, I've seen the potato bugs, and occasionally I see caterpillars swinging on webs around the yard. I see quite a few of them, but I've never really seen them directly in the garden. So I can't tell what is eating down my plant. So I don't know what to treat because I can't see what's eating the plant. But I only know that there are holes in my brassicas and some of my kidney beans. Hi, Woodchip Garden. Okay, so Urban Kiki said she used to use um, Miracle Grow as well. Okay, And White says, I'm planning to do a winter garden apart from my winter herb box. Okay, nice. I can't really do a winter garden unless I'm doing an indoor garden, and that is going to require grow lights. I do plan, however, to take some my herbs indoors, at least some of them, and overwinter them. And I do plan to grow sweet potatoes, and whether it is the Japanese yam or the Jamaican sweet potatoes, I do plan to grow those indoors over the winter. And since as they did so well on my windowsill without grow lights last year, so I'm definitely going to be growing those indoors. But if it's going to require grow lights for the entire winter, then I'm not going to grow it. But we'll see what happened with those plants when I bring them indoors, because last year I did the same thing with my herbs, brought them all indoors, and they were looking fine for a little bit. And I don't know if it is as the weather got colder and it's cold by the window, or if it is that they weren't getting enough light. Maybe I had too many plants stuck behind each other, so they weren't getting the direct sunlight. I don't know. But they died, so I can only take in a small amount of plants this time around, and I don't intend to use the grow lights unless I'm starting seedlings. Let's see. Organic Wood Chip says, or Marvin says, I have Organic Miracle Grow, but I've never used it. Okay. Mhm. And says, I fed my plants, which are in the containers with the worm tea, on Mondays. Okay, nice. I usually have a schedule for my worm farm and for when I tend to my compost and when I tend to my garden, but everything is out the door these days. I get up in the morning, and after I'm finished making breakfast, I'll go out and check for the bugs and try to water as many plants as I can. And I only have a short space of time to water the plants because the top, unless I'm going to be watering it with my hand, because the tap to water the pipe is right up against, is on the house, because the water is coming directly from the main in the house. I don't know why they build it that way, but maybe to keep the water warm because it would freeze. So when I turn on the pipe, my daughter comes out, oh, mom, what is that sound? It's so loud, I can't hear my teacher. So I can't water early in the morning either, unless I'm going to get up rather early. And even then, it's going to be disturbing those who are sleeping downstairs. So there you have it. I have to hand water if I'm watering early in the morning or late in the evenings, then it's fine. So I don't have a regular schedule anymore for my garden or for my worm farm. So I'm gonna have to get back in gear. But thankfully, I'm getting close to finishing the project I'm working on now. So I'll get some more time to reorganize myself and to start even my videos that I used to upload at a particular time of day. Even that is out the window, but I'm gonna get myself organized. And you guys might have noticed that in the past 6 weeks, I have not been giving you much informative videos like you're used to. I apologize for that. I'm working on it. I just need to get myself reorganized, and then I will start uploading at a regular time again. Okay, I don't have slugs where I am, so I'm thankful. I've seen a few snails in Saskatoon, very few, but I've never really seen any in my region, thankfully. Yeah, I was very surprised when I saw the few because I didn't even know they were here, because I've never really heard anyone complaining about snails or slugs in the garden. I don't think it's, those are not slugs, those are snails, yeah. I've never heard anyone complain about having issues with them. Yeah, so I was very surprised when I saw the few of them. Let's see. Granite J says, think I'll try my hand with worm tea producing a lot of vermicompost. Just started with my worms in January. Oh, nice. Yeah. All the best with that. I hope you have fun. The Leafy Wiki says, I gave my worms their last meal of banana peel puree. Then I will be harvesting my first casting after everything is eaten. Oh, nice. Nice. That's pretty quick. That's going to be exciting. Let's see. And it says, I can plant things that can be grown in winter here, mainly root vegetables. Okay. Yeah. Nothing grows. Um, the trees will remain alive. The berries, some of the berries will remain alive, but as for growing, nothing will grow. It's too cold. I mean, imagine plants growing in minus 50 and minus 30. Yeah, nothing can grow outdoors here in the winter, unfortunately. I start with making casting tea on Friday and used on Saturday. 22 to 26 hours of aeration. Okay, good. Lots of microbes in that. Nice. Yeah. I just have to sit and look at the castings in the garage. I can't do anything with it. I don't have time. It's amazing. Usually, this time of year, it's always the busiest time of year for me, really. But I usually have a lot of time that I can spend in the garden. But no, that's not the case. I probably spend maybe a maximum of an hour, if that much, in my garden each day. And all I can do is just come out and water and just walk around and look at the plants and just check the potatoes for bugs. And that's all I can do. Don't have much time, but I'm just happy that I'm going to be getting everything close to being normal again after this weekend, provided we don't get rain. Because if I get rain, I can't finish my project. We've been getting so much rain. We had a rainstorm Thursday while I was at work. No, that wasn't a rainstorm, it was a lightning storm. So I had to leave work right shortly after I got there. But we've been getting a little bit of rain. We don't really get heavy rains. And if we do get heavy rains, it's for a few minutes and then that's it. But it's annoying when the rain just keep dewing and it stops and it's due again and it stops and it just keeps doing that. I'd rather just get a nice heavy shower and then everything clears up and then you can go on with your day. But when it's on and off, there's not much you can do because you can't run. You're back and forth, running in, running out. But anyway, that's all a part of life. We just have to get used to whatever weather conditions is around us because we can't control the weather. So we just have to make the most of it. Oh, hi, Peggy. Are you busy listening to the mug? Oh, I always thought it was magpie. The magpie is quarreling. Oh, those birds, they are miserable little creatures. They are so miserable. These days, every time I go out in the backyard to do a recording, they are just there making their noise and they won't be quiet. Sometimes I can hardly even hear myself. Yeah, they're miserable little birds. Canadians don't seem to like them. They're beautiful though, black and blue. They're quite beautiful, but Canadians, they don't like them because they say that they go into the nest of other birds and kill the other birds' hatchlings, and then they will lay their eggs in there and let the other birds take care of it for them. So, for that reason, a lot of Canadians don't like them. What pump do I use? Oh, I don't know how to answer that question. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question because the pump that I use is not the right size. I need a much larger pump. Uh, I don't remember the specs of the pump because when I bought it only for my hydroponic system that I had. So I just bought a small one, and now that's what I am using just to pump the water from one tank to the other or to another container so I can get it a bit closer to the garden. But as to the specs of the tank of the pump, I don't remember what size it is or what capacity it has. Yeah, but I definitely need a larger one. But whatever I'm getting, I'm going to have to make sure that it is able to fit in the tanks because the opening on those 1,000 gallon totes are not very big. So I have to make sure that it has the power, but not too not too big. Let's see. Levy says I need the free water so I can pump my root vegetable bed. Okay. Yeah. But I don't even have the time to set up the pump yet. I still haven't started using it for this year because it only takes a few minutes to set it up, and I can't find even those few minutes because at the time of day when I can find those minutes, it's dark outside. So I'm doomed. Let's see, Russell says, I use an aquarium pump. It was the big ultra quiet pump at Walmart. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have to get it set up because for now I was thinking of pumping from the tank to a smaller container and then pump from there to the garden. But what I really want to do is set up the system where I pump directly from the tank, and I might have to get several pumps because it would be annoying to be taking pump from one to the other because I have three of those large totes, and then I have three 55-gallon barrels. So if I have to be moving pump from one to the other every time I want to pump water or every time one is empty, it's gonna be annoying. So I want to set up the system where all of those are interconnected, or at least the two large totes and the two small barrels that are close to each other. I want to interconnect all of them so that I can just do one system, pump the water from one straight to the garden. I don't want to be doing intermediate pumping, but it's gonna take time to set up because I'm gonna have to design how I want to do it. And then I'm gonna have to find the resources to buy the material to get it done. But I will get there eventually. It's just a matter of time. Oh, okay. I was checking the time because I can hear my daughter playing games. I was wondering why she wasn't in school, but I guess it is her lunch break. Okay, bye, Jay. You're going with Jay. You be safe too and enjoy your weekend. Thanks for being here on the live. Silly. Yeah, my daughter is being silly. I guess in another few minutes it will be time for her to go back to school. So she's there to check to see if I'm almost finished with the room. Yeah. Well, pretty soon I'll be able to get my garden organized and get it clean. It's a mess at the moment, very messy, extremely messy to me at least, because Usually, when I'm looking after my garden, I would spend the time and take care of one portion of the garden and then I move on to the next. But I have so much to do that I can't just run out and just do a little. I can't after myself. It is fun out of gardening when you can't really spend the time on your garden the way you're supposed to. So I haven't really started to truly enjoy my garden yet for this season, but I think I'm getting there. Pretty soon I'll be able to really enjoy the garden, especially when I see those plants a little bit bigger, when I can see that they have passed most of the danger state, then I can relax. But for now, and then because my garden is not as organized as I wanted it to be, as you know, most of you here might know that this year I spend the time, I make a list of what I'm going to be growing, where I'm going to be growing it, what I'm going to be companion planting it with. And so when I was planting, every day when I'm planting, I would go out with my list and look and say, okay, these are going to go here. But then when the plants started to die off, what I've been doing is replacing a lot of things with things that does not belong there, or at least wasn't a part of the original plan. So now everything is all messed up. I'll be done in a few minutes. So now everything is getting all messed up. So I'm going to have to recreate a list that is going to show what I put where so that I can have better records for next year. But anyway, that is it. That is it. Things don't usually go exactly the way you plan, but the good thing is that when you have a plan, you will get it closer to what you have planned than if you don't have a plan. So I'll just keep planning and just expect. Let's see. Becky says, thanks for watching my worm bins cleaning videos. There are still so many people who think worms are creepy. As soon as I bought the pot of worms, I realized that worms are the best pets. I like that you don't really have to do much to them and they're not in your way. They don't shed and you don't have to take them to the expensive vet, and they provide one of the greatest benefits that they can, because you're getting pesticide from them, you're getting fertilizer from them, you're getting rid of your food scraps, you're getting rid of the papers and cardboards around your house. So yeah, they're very nice. Excuse me, they're very nice to have. I don't like in general, I don't really like worms. Well, I don't think anybody or most people don't like worms, but I have after I started fishing years ago, then the worms that we use for fishing, oh bye mom, have a great weekend. Oh, and they don't beg. So true, so true. Yeah. Bye mom, have a lovely weekend. Yes, so when I just started fishing, it was a bit creepy handling worms, and we would just use the regular earthworms. But over the years, handling them is not so bad. But I still, with the red wigglers, I'm fine. I'm fine with them either way. The Canadian night crawlers, I will handle them to do my fishing. I wouldn't have them in my hand like I would have the red wigglers all over my hand though. And I don't know, it's strange. It must be some mental thing because they're all worms. They do the same thing. So why is it that some makes you feel creepy while some may not? I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. Hope I'll figure it out one day. But for now, I don't know what the story is with that. And even the Canadian night crawl, not the Canadian, the European night crawlers. Maybe because I don't have a lot of them and I haven't really been handling them much, but I'm most comfortable handling the red wigglers. I don't have any problem handling the red wigglers. But maybe when the population of my European night crawlers grow, maybe then I will see. Yeah, I'm not at that point yet, so we'll see. Speaking of which, maybe it's about time I feed those in the garage. Yeah, going to give them some more food. Although they still, at the last time I did an update on those ENC, they still haven't eaten off all the foods that they have had since probably since January. They haven't eaten all that food off yet, but most of it is gone. So maybe I should give them another feeding. I don't want to feed them yet. They have stuff in there that they can keep working on, but I don't want to feed them yet until I get their bin fully protected from the fungus gnats, although some are still in the bin, but the population is going down. So every time I get the chance, I do a little bit more work on them, try to get the fungus gnats out. Becky says, funny, I don't want to touch the earthworms either. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, guys, it's time for my daughter to get back to class. So I am going to say goodbye to you all. Thank you for being here. I enjoy the company, I enjoy the discussion, and I hope to see you again on Monday. I have not prepared any particular topic to discuss with you for Monday yet, but I will have something ready. Next Monday, we were supposed to continue the discussion on the potato bugs. But since as we already did a part of that on last week, Monday, before the live got interrupted, I'm going to have to find other material to discuss in addition to the potato bugs. Oh, okay, learn English at home. You have a wonderful weekend too. Let's see, Russell says, I started €6 buckets this week with 10 ounce in each bucket. Got rid of 20 pounds. Oh, with 10 ounce in each. When you say you got rid of 20 pounds, what does that mean? Okay, so Peggy says, can you put sticky tape to catch nuts? Yes, you can put sticky tape to catch nuts. I wouldn't put it in the worm bin. I would put it on the outside of the bin, close to wherever they can enter the bin. But I would not put it in the bin because you don't want your worms to get caught on it. I don't know if they would get caught, but just to be on the safe side, I would not put it in there. Plus, I don't know what type of chemical is used to make that glue, so I wouldn't have it in the worm bin. I would just have it around the entrances where the nuts can enter. I know that another solution that can be used is vinegar with a little vinegar, apple cider vinegar in a container covered with a plastic and some tiny holes in there, because the fungus gnats and the fruit flies will go into the holes, but then it's difficult for them to come back out, and so they will stay there and drown. So that's another method that can be used, but of course you're going to have to change that regularly, and you are going to have to put up with the smell of vinegar being constantly around. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a safe and wonderful weekend and that you will enjoy your garden. So until I see you on Monday, please take care. Bye for now. Oh, 20 pounds of European night crawlers. Okay. Okay. That's a lot of night crawlers. Okay, so see you guys. Take care. Hannah, you can come back